Hello, my name is Peter Rumm, and I'm part of the diagnostic team at Custo Med. And today I'm going to explain how the trend ECG in the Holter ECG is structured and which functionalities are available to you. Basically, the trend ECG has two central functions that provide you with important information about the Holter ECG. On the one hand, you get a feel for the recording quality, and when you look through the trend ECG, you also get a feel for the rhythm of the Holter ECG. In addition, you can edit the ECG from the trend ECG. You can do that in two different ways. There are two basic functionalities. You can change and select the analysis channels manually, and you can exclude ECG. I will tell you later how this works. In the first part, I'm going to explain how the trend ECG is structured. In the upper part, you can see the heart rate trend. The heart rate trend is subdivided in maximum, average and minimum heart rate. This is indicated by the dark blue and the two light blue lines which are above and below. In addition, you can differentiate between day and night phase in the overview of the trend ECG. The night phase is represented by the slightly greyed area between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. with the black bar above. This is an interactive field, which means that you can grip the beginning and the end of the night phase with the mouse and move it to the times specified in the diary. In the heart rate trend, you can also see a red line, a cursor, the so-called slider. The slider shows you at which position you are currently in the ECG and which part you actually see in the lower part of the trend ECG. What you see there is the original ECG. This original ECG again has certain functionalities, and there are functions and views available which you can set. On the left side above the original ECG, you see a pull-down menu called Trend. There you can set certain trends. By default, the HR trend is set, which means the heart rate trend. However, you can also set other trends, for example the PVC trend. All events that can be found in the Holter ECG can be set as trend, such as, for example, the QT or QTC trend. Right next to it, you can see another menu called mm/s, millimeter per second. There you can set the writing speed. You can select between 5 millimeters per second and 100 millimeters per second at maximum. The default setting is 25 millimeters per second. Farther to the right, you can see another pull-down menu named Mouse Function. Depending on which mouse function you select, you can edit the ECG differently. One of the most important mouse functions available here is the function Mark. With this function you can mark an ECG section as episode. If the mouse function change is selected, you can modify single beats within the ECG, or modify whole parts of the ECG, or change annotation. Here it is also possible to measure distances. Then you choose the mouse function Measure. There is a measuring template available in the original ECG, with which you can measure intervals. The RR interval, the PQ interval. You can measure different areas. Go through the single beats and look if there are changes. To the right and left of the original ECG, you can see a number of buttons with various functions. All the buttons you see on the right and left to the original ECG have the function of a switch, which means you can activate and deactivate them. Let's start at the top right. There you have the buttons. For example, if you make a recording with a flash recorder, you have the lead description there in Roman numerals 1, 2, 3. If you use a Custo Guard Holter, there are the leads A, B, C. or also 1, 2, 3, depending on which type of lead you use. With the Custo watch, you have the names F, T1, T2, if you choose the Custo belt as type of lead. So depending on which recorder and lead type you use, you have different channel names. In 2 of the 3 available channels, there is a bracket with a lowercase a. This A shows you on which of the channels the analysis has run. This means which channels have been analyzed. You can, for example, click on one and see then this channel. One is then shown in the trend ECG. Next to the channel names at the bottom, you can see 3 further buttons called RR in milliseconds, HR in beats per minute, and template. There you can select how the RR interval is to be displayed, how you want to see it. You can choose the RR interval in milliseconds, the heart rate in beats per minute, or you click on templates and then see in which template this beat is. This may be important for further editing of templates in the screen analysis. But we will talk about this later. On the left, next to the original ECG, there are 4 further buttons. The first one is activated with the indication ECG. This is the view of the ECG section which we see currently. You can also click on ECG Overview. Then you see a period of the ECG. These may be 30 seconds up to 30 minutes ECG, which you can see in this view. In addition, you can display a tabular view by clicking on Table. Then you get an hourly overview which contains the heart rate related and ventricular events found in the hour in question. Thus you get an overview of the distribution of events in this ECG quickly.
So erhalten Sie einen sehr schnellen Überblick auch über die Verteilung der Events in diesem EKG.
As a last button you find ST, where you can trigger an ST analysis and branch automatically to the ST view.
Und verzweigen damit auch automatisch in die ST-Ansicht.
I have explained to you the most important functions and contents of the trend ECG and its view. And now I would like to deal with the editing of the Holter ECG. If you have noticed that everything is okay when going through the original ECG, you don't need to do anything else. However, if you find that one of the channels where the analysis is run is not optimal, and certain areas have not been well identified, or if there are artifacts and no analysis should have been made there, it is possible to determine the analyzing channels yourself. You can do this by clicking on Analysis, Options, Parameters. Under Beat Identification, you find a function where you can select these other channels. Click on Analysis at the bottom right, and a new analysis will be carried out with the channels newly selected by you. If you are then satisfied with the result, everything is all right, and you can go to the next editing step. But if you still find parts in the trend ECG you are not satisfied with, and you should completely exclude from the analysis, you can do this easily. You click on Options in the trend ECG, Exclusion, and select the area you want to exclude in the opening window, where there is again a heart rate trend. This is very easy. You click in this area with the mouse button pressed. Go as far to the right as you wish to exclude ECG. Select the button Exclude. Confirm this dialog box. Then a new analysis is made again. The ECG is being reanalyzed, and you receive a result which excludes this part of the ECG from analysis. With these methods, you can perform a first pre-editing of the ECG, a first manual pre-editing, and consequently get a better valid result.
zu einem besseren, validen Ergebnis.
Then you can proceed with the next steps and deal with the template analysis and view the templates.
Die Template-Analyse, also
And I will tell you more details about this in the next video.
erzähle ich Ihnen in einem nächsten Video.